All right, Grand Rising, everyone. It is Shalonda or Shay Seeking. And yeah, so I'm just like, you know, out on a little ride or whatever. I needed to get some gas. I guess I didn't really need to get nothing. I just need to get out of the house. So, right? But I did get gas and stuff like that, right? So, so yeah, I don't know. It's just a couple things that I noticed, right? So like, yeah, there's a couple things I noticed today by like going back on some older shows, right? That for some reason, my ears are ringing like crazy. Okay. I mean, they're like, okay. So, you know, it was a couple of series that I wanted to go back in on, such as Scandal, Rain. I finished Lucifer. And again, I don't even watch that much TV, but something, you know what I'm saying? Something has me going back into these things here. I had to go back into, I wanted to go back into Handmaid's Tale. But I don't know what happened to my Hulu subscription, and I don't feel like really messing with that all like that right now. But, you know, I was just paying attention to a couple things, and I have been, you know, catching up again. I don't know what it is about the mass media these days, but I've been looking, and you know, I know it gets me into so much trouble. Oh my goodness, there's the weasel. You know, there's this weasel. I don't know why. I mean, y'all can make, well, don't weasels eat fish or something like that sometimes? Okay, that was just probably like one of them questions, right? Okay. But there's a weasel that lives by the lake, and he just be chilling. And every time I come here, he's out here. It's kind of cute, actually. I mean, I'd rather see him than something else, right? But yeah. So I noticed that. Okay, excuse me, that was a yawn, right? So I just noticed a couple things that just really struck me as to like things again that are going on, because I don't know, like I said, I have this mind of duality. He just looks so funny. Okay, I'm sorry. So when I'm seeing something, like I'm able to relate to something or relate it to something else, right? But I'm going to start. I have some notes here, right? Some of the stuff is to share, and some of it I don't want to. I'm trying to be like some kind of way with it, right? So again, I don't know. Did anybody notice today that the look, which ones do I want to talk about? Okay. So I did notice that when I was watching like this little clip or whatever. It was I got to be paying attention, right? So I was watching a clip of, you know, it was very surprising to me, right? To see, I think it's Miss Waters, speaking today on the issue with the border. You know, like, I like to be careful, again, when it comes to, you know, any kind of energy or whatever, when it's coming from media. And I like to really just take in what's being said, who's saying it, how they go about, do they normally... I don't know if I like the energy. So, you know, I just like to read people, right? And so, you know, I was just looking at the scenery or whatever, and she was like pretty upset about this thing, right? But, you know, the only thing that really, you know, like I was like, okay. But the only thing that really shocked me is because I think we were talking about it in the other day in the video. Now, this is no disrespect to anyone, race, creed, color, whatever, like this, right? Or anybody using nationality or anything like this. This is just to say that I noticed that this is someone that never really speaks out about things that are going on in the so-called Black community. But everyone is outraged all of a sudden. And I guess that we're to believe that these people didn't know that these people were here for months. I'm thinking more than 6 months is what I'm hearing. Again, this is alleged, right? All of it is alleged, right? All of it is just alleged, right? So I was just saying, I was just looking at the outrage and I'm like, oh, okay. Because I feel this energy when it comes to the whole thing that has to do with the refugees, you guys already know. And then the difference between these people that are down at the southern border, the energy that surrounds them. Again, we talk about it, each group or whatever, and the treatment that they've gotten from the government. It seems like the people at the south border, although they're sitting down there for a long time and they're not really having much shelter and everything, once they get into the country, they're supposed to be getting all of these gifts and these benefits, right? Benefits that so-called Black people in America don't necessarily are not privy to in the same sense. And then something about the antidote, right? Because I find it funny that they're saying that they're seeing if people have symptoms, is what the Speaker of the House is saying, that they have symptoms. If they have symptoms, they're checking to see if but are they testing? This has nothing to do with the people personally. This has to do with what are we, like if we're still holding on to this pandemic and so many things are being used to, restrain or make so-called Americans lose their jobs. Supposedly and allegedly, right? Americans have to wear masks. Americans have to do this, or so-called Black people, or whatever else. Whoever else is an American. You dig what I'm saying? So again, it seemed like we have all these restrictions and all of these rules and regulations, but people that are being brought in, this is just a question for me. If this is, what is this concern? Because, also when it comes to this whole energy, like I said, when it comes to the alliance between the UK and Australia, which also makes me think about G7. But then, I know it's it's a different subject, right? But I don't know, just again, spiritually, it's just making me list them all together. And then how there's a questionable sense that, France had been taken out and then maybe put back in to functions or, as allies or whatever with the US, right? And so I don't know. Like, it's something about this whole submarine issue. Because if, again, you can do it on your own. I'm going to do it later on, but I'm not going to do it now. Submarines, it has something to do with something that is a large object or something that is under the water. So, again, the other day we did that video about walking on water, or Yeshua or Jesus walking on water, right? So, again, it's making me think something that's submerged, even underwater. And that makes me think about, again, anybody that would be underneath, like, I'm even thinking like economics and trade and stuff like that that energy, right? So anybody that is below that energy could be affected by, and I'm just saying, this is allegorically, symbolically, this is spiritually. We're not talking about we know what a submarine mostly looks like. But if you look at the term in etymology, it will expand your mind and share with you things that we may be looking at today. So I found it funny because, again, some people call themselves Aborigines here in America. There was something about an energy of trade or something that was just going through my mind. I noticed that there was a earthquake or something like that in Melbourne, and I think the day before that they were out there protesting. And now I couldn't really understand what they were saying, if they were protesting because of something that was happening, you know what I'm saying, or if they were protesting because of the antidote. But I thought that for some reason, I thought that there was not that many deaths in Australia. And I don't know if they were heavy on the antidote. Again, we'll have to look it up. But I think it triggered something into me because I was thinking, the same way we're being outraged at our borders, could this have something to do with border patrol? Could this have something to do with some individuals? Because we are at a point of scattering. We're at a point of exile. We're at a point of exodus, right? So again, it seems like what's going on is there's a currency or a fluent movement of different people. Again, how we were talking about being cloaked, right, in the biblical text yesterday, right? So again, how we were talking about being cloaked in something and brought in. So it just makes me think. It makes me really think. these tents and things like this. It just is giving me that energy again, because someone brought up today that we're saying that these are so-called Haitians, but we really don't know where these people come from, how they just plopped up on the soil here in America. And, you know, again, we're taking, you know, certain individuals in, and we're not really concerned. And so like that, like I said, this is just general. This is just general. My whole thing is, are we doing something where Jews are being scattered, right? While other people are being brought in because they feel like we think we're too good to work for $7 an hour to take all these jobs that are scattered around as well, right? So again, to bring other people in that are willing to work for the United States without complaining for $7 an hour, instead of raising minimum wage to like $12, $14 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because most of the time that's why we ain't, but because we can't pay. But then again, if you get certain individuals to come in, then they can kind of live with each other for a little bit of time till they get, you know what I'm saying? So I can see, you know, that work ethic is not there. You know what I'm saying? In the so-called, you know, our communities, we don't really like to share. You know what I'm saying? We don't really, you know, okay, I feel like too much going on right here. So we don't really like to share, you know, our homes and stuff like that, unless we're forced to, you know, do something like this at this day and age. It's not like how it was like in the 80s, low key, still a little bit movement in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? People want their own space, and that's just how it is, right? And I don't think it's only in our community, but if you think about the so-called minority groups, which again, we know that that's questionable, then we'll see that that's basically how it's been for us. Okay, when compared to other groups, right? So they showed something about, I think it was Biden speaking a couple of years back about, you know, a heavy influx on immigration, bringing all these people in. I mean, if you want to, you know, like I think it was tonight. I think it was this night, right? What the fuck you want? Motherfucker. Fuck is you talking about? I don't know you. Shit, y'all had to dip up out on this motherfucker quick. I don't play no motherfucking game. He gonna come up slow. Bitch, we the only people out here. No, you won't. Y'all see my getaway? I don't know what he's pointing at either. Like, nah. I'm good. His window out and shit. Like, I be paying attention to details, y'all. This is one of my nights when there's not really that many people out here, so I didn't really get out of the car, right? But you don't do that. You don't do that. And then he reaching his hand out the car like something. Like, dude, what is you doing? I'm a female out here. Don't even come by my car. Windows up, doors locked. But we ain't doing that tonight, right? I had to skirt up. Y'all, I be doing it. Like, I ain't got no time to play no game. So yeah, I guess, are we driving doing this? Okay, all right. So, and he's sitting there like, what? I was trying to, and I'm just thinking like, okay, no more. Hold on. All right. I don't like that, no. I mean, it's like 10 o'clock or something like that, but still. Oh my goodness. Okay, y'all, we gonna have to probably just stop the video. Oh, and he coming this way too. What do you want? Is there something wrong with my light or something? Like, let's go down here to the other end where it's a lot of people. Yeah, it's a lot of people over here. We'll go over here. I don't even think I want to do that. Okay, I think they turned off. Okay. Don't do that. And I don't even like the way he pulled up next to the car. Like, don't do that. So, what were we talking about? All right. Okay. So, what were we talking about? So, I'm just wondering, you know, like I said, I wonder if anybody else is looking at these things in this fashion or in this light. It's almost like there is a sense of a relocating kind of energy. Like I said, an exile kind of energy, exodus energy. You know what I'm saying? There's my weasel. It must be a family of them down here. Because I know he ain't made it all the way back down here that fast. All the way on this side. Anyway, okay, that's enough. So yeah. Why I got me one of them nights? So yeah, I just was like, you know, yeah, there's a family. Okay. There's a couple of them down here. So, you know, like I said, I was shocked. Like I said today, I'm just pointing out things that are just questionable, right? So I'm just pointing out again how people are stepping out into the public. And I think she was under a tent. Maybe they weren't, but I thought it was a tent or something there. And that they were speaking about this issue and very upset about it. And I had to really think back as to when have I ever seen the same people that are standing here with the same energy when it came to anything that had to do with the communities that are already here. And it's just this energy, I'm telling you guys. I don't know if it has something to do with the whole Esther energy and prophecy, but it just feels like there's something going on. And I'm just wondering if anybody else sees it. I'm just wondering if anybody else sees it, because I see it like all day. While, again, they're talking about the elders, if we want to talk about what the elders are talking about, which could also be referring to older people, or it can be talking about people with the older DNA and genes from the Americas, right? So again, you know, it's just very funny how they want especially elderly so-called black people to get this. And then we're having other people coming into the country, and then they're just co-mingling and just disappearing off into the atmosphere. And again, it's like it's not the same. So again, this is nothing against the actual people that are in need of something. This is me pointing out something that's questionable when it comes to the construct and how things are being run. And are people being run out and murdered off into their neighborhoods by each other or other energy or whatever? You know what I'm saying? And then now there are replacements coming in. It's almost as if this is what it is. And a lot of people are making jokes on the media, mass media, which I think is dangerous, you know, about certain groups not wanting to work. So yeah, we should let these people in because they do want to work. And we should just, you see what I'm saying? They're making fun, but it's not really funny. Because we know this has more to do with, again, we have to think about the groups, like I said, that are amongst us in our communities that also probably are aware of these types of works, but they're going to benefit from them once you're gone. Are they going to benefit? Again, allegedly. So we spent so much time talking about this so-called white-black complex, but I told you guys when we were talking about the earth, joining with the earth, we're talking about groups of darker indigenous or native or whatever peoples that are being I mean, if you look at the story, it just repeats itself. It just repeats itself. The same thing as if the story that I put up today about, you know, they're calling these things like this bill or whatever that they just passed in Wisconsin that we shared, you know, some information about yesterday. But is that under the guise of the whole treatment that was done to women? Like I said, back in, I posted something in the Facebook group, American Aborigines Unchained. And, you know, it was something about mental illness and, you know, the kind of things, the dirty things that were done to people back then in the 1800s and things like that, around the time of some of these wars and things like that. And again, is this a silent war? You know what I'm saying? Because they're going to have to use code, you know? And I just worry about my people, you know? So, you know, there's this whole Bathsheba and Esther and Vashti whole energy, like I said, that I'm sensing and I'm sitting in lately, you know? And the piles of people, like I told you with the whole prophetic, you know, not prophetic, right? Because again, but I mean, can it be, right? But the whole, like I said, the whole thing when it comes to that vision, we'll call it that. We'll call it that. So, I don't know. Maybe someone else has something to add or whatever. I do want to go into detail about some of these things, you know, and I'm not doing it right now, but I just wanted to, you know, trigger just thought in those things so we can start paying attention. Because I think even Miss Harris might have spoken today in a clip that I saw. I think it was issued today. I'm not sure. But again, she was with this woman, seemed to be, you know, beautiful woman or whatever, seemed to be Ethiopian, possibly, you know what I'm saying, by trait. And again, I'm just saying these things because I'm saying what is going on with the American Negro, so-called American Indian. And are you aware? This is why I brought these things up and why people try to roast me and then talk about what I look like, because I'm pointing out what they are doing. And it's kind of funny that that's the case. And so they've sold that lie. They've had plenty of time to sow those seeds into the soil, my people, right? To usher in some kind of mistrust or something like this. So then they will be the ones that you look to. And you know who was the ones that they look back to? So it's just like, you know, I know a lot of people on a large scale might not be watching this channel or whatever, but, you know, I hope that people that do, you know what I'm saying, get the message of what I'm trying to say. Because although they want to point out certain things, you know, when it comes to people's mentality or the way that they see or think, when it comes to oracle seers, readers, scryers, crystal viewers, whatever, to try to demonize that and vilify that energy because it's too hot to handle. You know what I'm saying? And it's almost like a subduing kind of energy here to subdue mountains or those women that would be those, you know, giants in these days, right? So I don't know. I think that's it, y'all. I had enough excitement and I'm not getting out of this car, so I think I'm just gonna go, like, I mean, I'm looking at the water right now and the waves are like crashing right now. They coming up all on the boardwalk or whatever, so it's not a good idea anyway. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and probably head back home and finish this up. But, you know, like I said, just that's something to think on for a minute, right? It's just something to think on. Where's the outrage? You know what I'm saying, when it comes to that? And why aren't we talking so much about these crimes anymore? It's almost like there's a something spree going on right now and we're really just not paying attention. So I don't know, y'all. I just be concerned about all people, but especially, you know, people that are just, and I something just tell me just stop. You know? They're not listening. You know, even Jesus, you know, had to go ahead and quit talking for a minute. So, but I feel like, you know, I don't know. I guess it's going to be those who are connected and those who are not. Because even just the sense of enlightenment, I think that I see lately is the energy is changing. For me, anyway. It's changing slightly. You know? And I feel like I feel like Source wants me to go about, or the Elohim wants me to go about some things a little bit differently. So again, I've been like sitting back or whatever, but at the same time, it's just like when you're a messenger or somewhat of a prophet, or you're in that energy, you know, what do? You know? And then when you sense something else going on, like it's like I said, warn the people is something that just always keeps coming. So again, but I don't want to be like that in that town crier kind of energy, because again, everything else, like I said, besides certain, you know, knowing exactly what direction to go in and stuff like that, you know, everything else, like I said, I'm feeling really, really good. You know, I don't like when people make it feel like, you know, what you do, right? And I wouldn't say this is for a living, but I say for living, you know what I'm saying? Right? Doesn't really define who you are. And I can't stand that. I can't stand when people try to define who you are by what you choose, not even what you choose, what you've been sent here to do. Like, this is one part of me, and then there's other parts. And so it's just like right now I'm trying to get back into me and like other parts and things like that that I want to focus on. You know what I'm saying? So I guess it is a little bit more balanced, I guess, because I don't sit there for hours and hours and hours anymore a day reading and doing all this kind of stuff, right? But it's kind of just like this energy, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Where something's trying to distract me from the word. And I know sometimes you may say that that's God or whatever, or source. But sometimes I feel like it's something else because somebody doesn't want me there because they don't want me to see what's going on. So again, a couple of days for me missing out on scripture can mean a lot. You know what I'm saying? Missing out on the message in scripture, it could just really mean a lot. So I don't really like to do that. I don't like the feeling of it. So I don't know. But anyways, y'all, that's just it. I don't have anything else right now. Although I have all these notes here. You know, it's not even really about studying. It's like studying. It's like preparing, in a sense, because again, there's certain terms or whatever that you can't use or whatever. So, it'll be for people to kind of discern. So anyways, I'll see you guys soon. I hope that was like, I hope I didn't scare y'all too much with my whole dip out that I did, because I had to dip. But I'll see you guys soon. Yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Take care.